Welcome back, everybody, to Out at Reese's podcast. I'm your host, Reese Shalvis, and today we are once again joined by my friend, Christian Reeves.
Yes, sir.
How you doing, man?
I'm pretty good.
You know, we actually, when was this? Was this on New Year's? Or no, this was like last week or so, but
Yeah.
we shot a whole New Year's episode.
It was like right before Christmas.
Yeah, that's right.
Yeah.
No,
It was right after.
Right after Christmas, and the audio wasn't even recording at all. Like, it wasn't even, like, even if I had hit record, the proper mic wasn't even set. And so we shot a whole episode. No, like most of an episode. Like 45 minutes of an episode before I froze. I was like, stop, hold up. And he's like, what? I wake up the laptop because it kind of shut off its screen while it was recording. And it wasn't actually recording.
Yeah.
And I was like, damn. It was a good episode, too.
We had some good
We
fits.
had some good. We were saying some good stuff.
We were dripping.
And honestly, like, trying to reshoot episodes like that just doesn't work. You know, like, you try to say the same things and it just doesn't. It never comes out as good as the first time. Never as natural. You know, and it's annoying. Like, because that same thing. That's the second time I've made a mistake like that. Like a while back when I shot an episode with Devon, we shot a whole episode on technology. Amazing. We were talking about like the future of technology, like where we think it might be going, stuff like that. Just seeing how fast it's evolved from the beginning to how it is now, and they wasn't recording the audio. We got the video, just no audio. So I'm like,
yeah, Well, there's like no point even trying to use the same. Maybe not. You could probably still use the same topics, but trying to
re-say what you already said.
Like, there's no point. It's just going to be exhausting and not going to come out smooth and going to sound super scripted. So.
No, like back in my old gaming days, I might actually censor that out because I don't know if I want people knowing my old YouTube channel. Like if they find it, that's fine or whatever. But I don't know if I want to just be like, yo, this is my old gaming YouTube video channel. But there'd be times I'm recording with my friends. We'd make a joke, but something ruined it. But it was a really good joke, but the recording was ruined. So I'd like remake the joke, and everyone was like, "It's not funny anymore, bro." I'm like, "Dang it," you know, because it just really isn't. It just doesn't work. People aren't gonna react the same way they did the first time, and it's not gonna feel as natural or authentic.
Yeah, and I mean, it is what it is. It's kind of like, I guess that's kind of like an artist. Like a music artist or like a director trying to recreate their first album that made them successful, or like their first movie that made them successful.
Like
they're like, oh, well, my old sound made me popular, so I'm gonna make it. I'm gonna try and make that the same as I did 10 years ago, and then it doesn't. Then they flop.
Colossal failures.
Yeah. So.
Yeah. It's speaking of which, dude. So you're going into movies or just film production, right?
Yeah, I've started writing again because it's like weird that I don't know. It's like weird that it came up again because like, I used to do videography, like voice crack. I used to do some videography and some photography, and I had the talent. I just didn't put in the work to develop the skills, and then I started doing music, and I'm still doing music. I actually found a few songs that I'm going to show you that I'm going to be sampling probably tonight or, throughout, basically before.
Yeah, I remember you said you were wanting to make that song tonight, and I was going to go to listen to it.
Yeah.
It's kind of interesting, though, because you used to be, before you were super into music, like making music, you were into film, right? And then you kind of switched. So what's got you kind of coming back to it? What's got you coming back to film?
I mean, I don't know. I mean, I just started thinking about it again, and it's weird because it's mostly something that I contemplate doing when I'm sober, and now that I am sober, it's like, hey, let's write again.
Right.
Like that, I don't know where exactly that's coming from, but like after everything that happened to me in 2021, it's like I kind of started thinking about doing it again then, because my reasons for wanting to become a famous musician aren't in line with my like deepest desires, because they're more in line with, oh, like these people that I went to high school with like treated me terrible, and I know that this is one of my talents, so I might as well use it to prove that they're wrong and make them like feel bad. And it's
Right.
like even if that hit them with an "I told you so," it's like, who cares?
Right.
Like, it doesn't even matter. And I actually had this this weird realization yesterday while I was at work. I'm not gonna say exactly what it was. Well, I'll say what it was. I don't want to give any detail as to who it was,
Oh
just
yeah,
in
yeah.
case.
That's totally
Because it was someone that I knew through. I didn't know them through high school, but like I knew of them.
right.
And it's like you never really know who's gonna do really well outside of the institution
Mm-hmm.
setting in high, like such as high school. And a lot of the time it's popular kids, especially portrayed in movies, are like working at the Burger Shack, and they're like, "What's up, man? I haven't seen you since high school." And you're a businessman, and they're like holding a spatula, and they're like, "You wanna sit down and chat? It's almost my break time." And you're like, I'll have a number two.
To go.
Hi. Like, yeah, to go, like, immediately. Like, so,
Oh, sorry. I'm in a big rush right now.
yeah, I gotta get back to my
Business.
life.
My life.
Like, and so, I don't know. Like, I've ran into a couple of people. I mean, I've ran into some people that are really nice, and they're just doing their thing. Like,
Right.
they might not be doing super productive stuff, but it's like, all right, like, they're being authentic, and that's awesome. But then there's some people that I see now outside of high school that I'm like, what happened, bro? Like, what happened,
Dude,
bro?
I know what you
Like-
mean. It's really surreal, honestly, to see.
Like, they put on like hella weight and like just kind of don't like to show anybody any kind of, I guess, themselves. Like, they don't actually show themselves to anybody,
Right.
and they're just really like,
And they just like, when you look at them how they were back then, it's so much like, man, like because something did happen. Like something, there's a reason they have let themselves go like that, right? There's usually something that, even if it's like something that they just like slowly stop taking care of themselves because of just developing bad habits, there's always something for why they're where they are now and not anywhere else.
yeah. Well, and I've noticed that sometimes the problem is that they never changed, or like the way that they were in high school just worsened.
I guess in that sense it could be the way they were in high school worked because they had parents taking care of them, feeding them, right? That having an income, and they could just kind of do whatever they wanted. Then but they never really learned to truly take care of themselves. And so when it came to, well, you're an adult, maybe their parents kicked them out, or they were just like, you know what, I'm gonna try and live on my own. I make $12 an hour working here. I can afford it because screw my parents. So they move out, and then it just kind of goes to shite because they just don't know what they're doing. They had no plan. They're just, I want to move out with friends because that sounds fun, and I'm tired of my parents.
Yeah.
Type of thing, you know. And
I'm gonna become a famous surfer rock star, and me and my band are really gonna take off. And it's like, I don't know.
I get what you're saying.
There's a movie that I really like that's called, dang, bro, I am 21. Why is my voice cracking? There's a movie called Big Time Adolescence. It's
With Pete Davidson?
yeah.
I haven't seen it, but I
It's-
remember you told me about it.
It's really good. It portrays the story of a kid whose older sister dated this guy, and when they break up, the kid and the guy still want to hang out because like he was kind of like an older
Mhm.
brother, but he is like a super bad influence, would sleep around, did tons of drugs, and
Right.
so it flashes forward to when they're older. this kid's in high school, and the older guy is now like our age and maybe a little bit older, and he's got like, and I mean there's nothing wrong with tattoos, but just in his situation,
Right.
like he has tons of tattoos, and he wants to just like he just wants to open a, I'm trying to think. No, this is King of Staten Island. Wow, they're like the same character, but it's the same. They portray
Right.
kind of the same thing
Yeah.
in a little bit.
Is King of Staten Island another movie?
Yeah, it's another one of his movies. That one's more about, that's more like homage to his dad, but
Mm-hmm.
that one doesn't have as terrible of an ending. The ending of Big Time Adolescence ends with the kid looking at the older guy working at a burger store,
Right. Yeah.
sitting on the curb. Like, but in King of Staten Island, like his dream is to open a restaurant where people get tattoos. So people are watching people get tattoos while they eat, like, essentially. And it's like no one wants that. And then, oh yeah, flip back to Big Time Adolescence. That's weird, dude. That's weird. Okay, these movies parallel a lot now that I'm realizing.
Watch them both back to back.
Yeah, because the kid's dad is telling him that he doesn't want him hanging out with that guy, and the older guy's name, by the way, is Zeke, and the younger kid's name is Mo. And he's like, I don't want you to hang around with him anymore. And he's like, oh, but he wants to. Yeah, he said he wants to do a podcast. That's ironic. He was like, he wants to do a podcast, and he's like, okay, well, the world doesn't recognize you for things you're going to do. It
Right.
recognizes things you've done. You're not gonna get money for thinking, one day I'm gonna invent a type of escalator that goes all the way to Mars.
Right.
It's like, oh, first of all, that sounds really dumb. That's impossible.
I mean, if it was possible, it'd be kind of cool though.
That'd be pretty sick.
That'd
That'd be a
that'd
long escalator ride.
You're just like.
That is
like
not one of
taking away
those.
on it.
Yeah, that is not one of those escalators you would want to run up the opposite and see how fast you can get there. That is not. That's the wrong escalator to do that. But yeah, that was a weird example. But like, you're not gonna do that. So
Right.
where's the idea coming from? And like, are you doing it? No. I know that a lot of my music stuff has probably seemed like that to people who really don't know. But a lot of that has just been, like, I've been increasing in my skill with mixing and stuff, and I'm almost to the point where I'm like, well, I'm good at what I do, but it's like there's just these things holding me back, which I'm glad that those are going to be addressed. I'm going to a residential rehabilitation center in like next week.
Next week.
Yeah, no, yeah,
That's crazy.
I forgot to tell.
That's-
Yeah, it's next week.
That's like really soon.
Yeah,
That's really soon.
I'm nervous.
I'm sure you are, man. But just know, you have my full support on this because I know this is probably one of the biggest things you're doing in your life, and I'm honestly proud of you, man. Like, I really am. I think I've told you this before, but I really am proud of you for truly seeing what you need and doing what needs to be done in order to find your help that you need for your life, to take you on to the next stage in a more positive way, because it very well could have gone the opposite direction, and
Yeah,
what we had done recently was I think the realization that it was going to head in a negative direction if we didn't do anything about it.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and I mean, a lot of my stuff, like I was letting that kind of take control. I wasn't letting anything serve me. And I'm glad that, we were able to recognize that, and then there's just a matter of other stuff that's been holding me back for kind of a long time. It's, it's part of, I'm not going to like blame my problems for, because my problems aren't, I don't identify with my problems, but like they are just an extra weight around my ankles when I'm trying to do stuff. Like, I mean, you know what I'm talking. You know what I mean. And I'm glad that I'm going to get help, because I know that pop culture really, especially now, makes it seem like you should do everything yourself. you don't need any help. It's like, okay, well, I said this last time. We were talking about dependency, independence, and interdependence.
Right.
Because, like, if you're dependent, like, just you're not going to be able to do much because you're depending on other people's assets. And then
for sure.
Independence is relying purely on your own strength and on your own assets that are eventually going to kind of burn out, and you're going to get yourself cornered, or you're not going to reach your full potential because you're blinded by your own pride. And then there's interdependence, which is a quality of true leadership in which you rely on both your own and other people's strength and ideas. And there's been a lot of independency. I don't know if independency is the right word, but attempts at doing everything by myself, and realizing, like, well, if I go and get help from people who are already licensed and already have, not that a license is doing anything, but people who are more educated than I am, that can help me, that I can bring them my own insight, and they can help me kind of figure all of that out and be like, okay, this is what's really at play here.
Exactly.
Because like, I've reached burnout a few times, and I mean,
it's tough.
Yeah.
Burnout is really hard.
Yeah, and like there's like that aspect of, okay, well, you need to hit it as hard as you're gonna chill. Like, you need to be like, boom, boom, boom. Like, knock stuff out, get stuff done, and then chill just as hard. And just, like, kick back, like,
no,
all right,
I
back
get
to the grindstone.
No, exactly. Like, that's exactly how it's been for me, because earlier in 2022, I still can't believe it's already 2023, but back in 2022, it's there was a period of time before I had started doing my podcast and stuff, right? I was so burnt out of everything. Like, I was so depressed, and I just couldn't do anything. Being alone, I was burnt out of from. I didn't like being alone anymore. At the same time, I didn't like spending time with people, because when I say everything, is like even the contradictions I was burnt out from. Like being productive, I was burnt out from. At the same time, doing nothing, I was burnt out of doing. Yeah. Right? It was so weird. It was the weirdest time of my life I'd ever experienced.
Yeah.
And it was so painful mentally that is like I didn't know what to do, right? And then after going through, one of these days I'll open up about this experience in the future. Just right now I won't. There was an experience I went through that I found a extreme surge of motivation, clarity. I knew what I needed to do, and so I started this podcast again. I started grinding on it again, and as I was going through each episode, just constantly grinding every single week, I felt good. I felt unstoppable. I was like, I'm not going to get burnt out. I never will. Because I just felt so good, so energized. After about 3 months, I was able to just grind for 3 months straight, and then finally I was like, dude, I can't do this right now. This is insane. I'm so tired every day. I'm so tired, and I tried to take care of myself, drinking plenty of water and eating healthy, working out, right? I was trying to keep my energies balanced and stuff, but just the mental drain is what really got to me. So the last few weeks of the year, I was like, you know what? I'm still going to release an episode every Friday, but that's it. I'm not going to be grinding anywhere else. I kind of took even a break from working out just because I was like, I just need a full mental rewash, right? And so I spent the last few weeks doing nothing but just, other than work, just gaming. Like, just with my friends. We just gamed so much, just like the good old days, Like, we just gamed so much back then. And it was nice to just take a break from everything. So while still keeping some productivity, because I didn't want to just fully quit it.
Mhm.
So I was still releasing episodes every Friday, which still felt good to release, and then still have enough downtime to just game with my friends and just not, give a single care in the world, just because it's like we're just playing, whatever, Zomboid, Minecraft, State of Decay, whatever
Mhm.
it was, right? And then I remember thinking, like, these last few weeks I'm gonna take off just for as a break, start fresh on the new year. And so now here I am. I'm ready to. I feel way better. I feel so much better. I feel ready and motivated again. And I think the problem is a lot of people will feel like if they take breaks because they're getting burnt out, they're going to stay that way. And I think it very is possible that that can happen if you aren't careful with how you take your break, right? Because some people will be like, I need a break, and they'll quit everything, right? They'll be like, a month later, they're like, I kind of don't want to do this anymore, because they
Yeah.
just are still thinking of the burnout feelings and emotions they felt last time they did it. And so I think if you are able to take breaks while still maintaining some productivity in the regard and sense that you're trying to accomplish, when you finally are done with your break and come back, it's a lot easier. You're a lot stronger. It's like, because your brain's like a muscle when it comes to stuff like that, right? It's
Yeah.
definitely something you have to work out like a muscle, because you break it down, wear it out, and then next time when you rest and then when it recovers, your mind's going to be even stronger to take on what's next.
Yeah. Well, and I mean, with burnout, it's like you're gonna need more time to recover, but with more time to recover, you're chilling for longer, which means you're developing a stronger habit of just chilling
Right.
because you're spending more time doing that, when rather you should invest time into both areas. 'Cause
Exactly, which is why I was saying to
Yeah.
maintain at least some productivity.
Yeah, like you can't just wake up and be like, all right, I'm David Goggins today. Like, bro,
No.
that,
He had to work for where he's at, with what he
yeah,
does,
and
like, really hard.
yeah, and I'm not gonna say like you can't do that, but it takes a special kind of person, and you can be that special kind of person, but it just, I don't know, like, don't think, like, you can really get trapped in the mindset of like, oh, I'm going to be like that someday. It's like, okay, you can do that, but at what cost? Because you do need to remember what your priorities are and keep yourself checked into what you actually want to be, because sometimes that's not going to be what's best for you. Grinding that hard, I know that a lot of people, they'll want a family, but they're also going to want tons of money, and they want to
Right.
grind, and they're like, I want to be able to provide for my family. And then, they could make a ton of money before they have a family, but then how old are they going to be when they have their family? Are they going to be too old to grow to experience their kid's entire childhood? And then there's the people who have a good high-paying job but constantly need to work, and they're under somebody's thumb, or they could even have some level of financial freedom and aren't under anybody's thumb, but just continue to kind of work, and they're not at home a lot. And I see kids in my residential facility that have that issue with their parents semi-frequently. Like, oh, I'm going to make it so my kid can have anything he wants.
Right.
Oh, but he wants a dad. He doesn't want, I mean, he might want some sick dunks, but like, dunks are like
Literally never heard that
a
before.
fresh pair of fours. Oh, dunks are like a type of Nike
Oh,
shoe.
okay.
Yeah.
I thought it was a metaphor.
No, yeah, but it's like, it just depends.
Right.
Like, it really just depends. And you really just need to kind of check where you're at constantly, because a lot of the time, I was reading this like just the other day, probably yesterday, but like, you could think that you're aware of what's going on and what you think you should be doing, but it just goes back to the interdependence thing, because we're not as self-aware as we think, and some of the people who think they're the most self-aware are very unaware. I mean, it's like that person I was just texting, like,
Literally who you're talking to right now at one point felt like that.
yeah, like
I just real quick, I want to kind of, because I felt this way a lot of last year. I felt like I was so self-aware of myself, to the point it was hurting me because I was just so naive. I was like, no, I'm so aware of myself. I know of my issues and everything, which I mean, I feel like I still am aware of a lot of my issues, but also it was to the point where I was like, I didn't think there was anything else I could find awareness for because I was felt that aware of myself. And then that experience that we had, last month, I was like, okay, you know what? It opened my eyes completely. I was like, whoa, this is insane. And it's like, I went through almost like another ego death, not to any insane degree, but it's still like, yo, I need to chill out. Like I need to really continue explore myself, my own mind, and really see like how I truly am and what I can work on, because I definitely don't know shit.
Yeah. Yeah, and it's not even like, I feel like a lot of people turn to drugs to experience that feeling of freedom or that different, like a slightly angled perspective. And it's like, we were on the phone talking about this.
Yeah.
It's like, it doesn't even matter. Like, or like ego death, like people get their eyes open when they almost die.
Right.
Like actually almost die.
It's like almost life altering when you go through experiences like that, because it changes you when you almost go through like near death experiences, or just any experience that shocks your reality. It really changes your perception on the world for a while.
Mm-hmm.
Now your perception can go back to how it was before, but it's still just like with that new, I feel like when you go through stuff like that, having that altered perception on reality, and just when you look at everything, is good for people, because it can, if they use it right, because it can allow them to see what's up with themselves and be like, yo, I need to fix that. I need to do this. I need to do this to really improve someone's life. Or if they're not careful, unfortunately, it can lead people down a terrible path that is really hard to come back from.
Yeah.
And,
Yeah. Well, I mean, it's like the person, I'm being petty, but like the person I was texting, it's like they think that all of their problems belong to other people and think that they're like aware, and they're like, everybody's hurting me and I don't understand and I wish they could see it. And it's like, if everybody else is the problem, that should be a pretty good sign that it's your problem and not theirs.
Right.
Like, if everyone in the room is crazy except for you, 9.9 times out of 10, you're the crazy one.
Exactly. Like,
and I mean, not to say that you can't be the only one in the room that isn't right. Like, sometimes you are. But when it comes to a point of thinking that you have something figured out on top of, like, compared to other people, they have stuff figured out that you don't.
right.
That you might not even realize. It's like,
sometimes there's things you won't realize. There's things you won't realize until you actually experience it and learn from your experience. And then you're like, whoa, I was wrong about that. Okay. Guess I have some learning to do. And then some people, they'll learn that and think, okay, now I have nothing left to learn. Then they go through another experience. Oh, I was wrong again. And then you start to realize, wow, maybe I'm not as great as I thought. Maybe I need to just quit being a piece of shit and just actually work on myself, because I have all these things I'm starting to discover about myself. So I just need to, crack on that. But some people, they just, no matter what you tell them, they're never going to realize it from someone else. Like, I was actually having a conversation about like that with my friend yesterday. Actually, we were talking about how there's so many people who they think that they're a certain way, and there's things they won't learn until they just experience it. Despite, like, I'm gonna give an example, because this is a personal experience with myself. Back when I was dating my ex, probably 3 years ago, a A lot of my friends warned me about a lot of things about them, told me a lot about how I was acting, because there was times I was not being a good friend. I was being not a homie, you know what I mean? And I, despite all the advice and everything they would tell me, I never used it. And then after actually experiencing the breakup and truly seeing everything for myself, I realized, wow, they were right. And that's the thing, when you give people advice, when you're telling them stuff, when they're going through something, more likely than not, it's not going to change how they go about it until the actual experience that forces them to use that advice, right, actually happens. So as much as you learn from all these people, these inspirational speakers, these people who've gone through experiences, you'll hear it from them, but because you haven't experienced it yourself, you won't truly know what it's like to use that advice. You don't even know how to, really, because you haven't actually experienced that. And then once you experience that yourself, you're like, whoa, that I see. I see what they're talking about now, because you don't truly see what they're talking about until you actually experience it yourself.
Yeah. Well, and a lot of those people aren't like, they have great insight. They may have great insight, but you can't look at them like they just have everything figured out, because having everything figured out is impossible.
Right.
Because life isn't meant to be understood. It's just meant to be navigated. It's like leveling up in a game. It's almost like you don't have access to certain pieces of knowledge in some way. Not necessarily, but just in a sense of wisdom, I guess. When you're a teenager, you think that you're the king of the world, and you tell a teenager something and they're like, nah, bro, I know what I'm doing.
Right.
I don't have to use a condom. Stuff like that, bro. It don't even matter, dude, what it is. And they, the older they get, especially out of high school, they're like, whoa, the world is scary. Now that I'm not forced to go to a classroom, it's hard to make friends. It's hard to get tang. It's hard to do anything. Oh, I have to go to work every day to make money. Oh man. But if I don't grind and work hard every day, all day, I'm not going to make money. Oh, I'm stuck doing a job, so I don't have time to chase my actual ambition. Oh, all these realizations, and it's see, this is where time management comes in. Exactly. And things get a lot more difficult. And that's where you start to learn more, and you start to learn time management. You start to learn which habits are healthy, which habits are not, which habits are good, better, and best, among many other things that you're going to be learning the older you get. I mean, I'm 21, and I'm an idiot. I'm dumb compared to a 30-year-old. But then again, I could have more insight than a 25-year-old because of time management. They spent a lot of their time hooking up with people, getting drunk, and going to parties. And it's well, that stuff's fun, and you can almost balance those things out to an extent, but it just catches up to you eventually. Everything catches up. It's like a cow and a buffalo are different in the sense that, this is going to be weird. Just bear with me.
I'm ready for this.
So a cow and a buffalo are different in the sense that when a cow sees a storm cloud and he's in a field, he looks at the storm cloud and he's like, oh shoot, I need to leave. I need to dip out of here. I need to run from the storm cloud. So he starts running from the storm cloud. But then what happens? The storm cloud comes anyway, because it's a storm cloud. It's a storm cloud,
it's not going to stop. You can't stop it.
Yeah, the cow is going to get tired and need to eat some hay or something. It's going to be like, yo, I'm so exhausted. A buffalo sees a storm cloud and goes, all right. He goes, and then he runs into the storm, because he decides oh, well, if I go into the storm, it's going to pass quicker, and I might as well take it head on, because then it's going to pass much faster. Because if I run from it, I'm still going to face the storm cloud, but I'm going to be exhausted. So why not use the energy I have already to deal with the storm cloud rather than use that energy to run from it and then have none while I'm sitting there in the rain?
I'm low-key shook. That's a good metaphor. I mean, you didn't have to use a cow. You could have just put like someone running from a storm, right? Like someone if a storm's coming, rather than running from the storm, which will eventually catch up to you, you face the storm. You run through it, right? And eventually you'll make it out the other side to the bright and sunny day.
Yeah. No, I'm just a fan of livestock.
And one thing I was thinking about while you were saying that was like, not the storm thing. Like before that, I was thinking about how you can never get comfortable in life. As comfortable as you might feel and get, life's always gonna throw stuff at you. Life is always gonna change. Your life will always change. There's so many things in the world that can change your life, right? It could even be as simple as a slight bug in the banking system, and now you have zero money because there was a bug there. Or, I don't know, it's just, or even maybe like the accidental car crash of a family member, and now you have a death in the family, and like, it's just, there's so many things that can change your life. It's hard to truly be comfortable for long periods of time.
Yeah.
And if you are, you're really lucky because life is always changing. It's taken me several years to learn that since I graduated high school, because throughout growing up, life feels essentially the same. I mean, my life, it's like people growing up, they might have different things. Maybe like my parents, they got divorced. That was pretty life changing. And then like just how often we moved houses, that was pretty life changing. But besides those things, each place we went, life essentially felt the same. Just having parents and a family and just going to school, right?
Mm-hmm.
Then once you get out of high school, you realize how quickly life can just change, just like that. Like just several times a year even, because you're not expecting it. It's like, oh, I just moved out. Oh, I'm broke. Oh, I crashed my car. That. How am I supposed to handle all this? And it's like, don't let yourself get too comfortable in the sense that if you don't think change is coming, it's gonna hurt you. But if you can be ready for the change, you can embrace it, and you can use the change, whatever change it is that comes, to set yourself in a better spot. Yeah. Even if it's something that hurts you temporarily, mentally, physically, financially, whatever it is, you can use that to your advantage to put yourself in a better spot because of what you learn from it, the opportunities that will open up from it. Because anytime there's change, you're going to be in a different scene, a different area, a different space. Mm-hmm. And when that happens, that's what opens you up to new opportunities. Maybe it's meeting people, maybe it's starting new jobs, or whatever it is. You know what I mean? So I'd have to just say, like, be ready for change. Yeah. Always be ready for it, no matter how comfortable. Even if you've been in the same comfortable living situation for 5-10 years, still be ready for change, because it's going to come one day. And if it doesn't, well, lucky you, right? Then you gotta live this comfortable living situation that your whole life. But
yeah,
most people, it's coming.
Lucky you, trust fund baby in the basement eating Dorito chips while mama does the laundry.
I mean, it is kind of lucky them in the sense they, like, while it sucks that they never had to learn stuff for themselves.
You have a dog? I'm just kidding.
People like that are really lucky that they're given that like and the thing is, stuff like that will catch up to them in the future too, because their parents don't live forever. They can't take care of you forever. They're going to die one day, and you won't know what to do.
Yeah, and then you'll be less equipped than you could have been at 20.
Ever been in your life, you'll be less equipped.
Yeah, because at least when you were young, you were more able-bodied, because if you're not doing anything for a long time, you're going to be like, you're chilling like,
the health problems that you'll probably have from living like that.
Yeah.
Like, you're not going to be able to afford it because you probably won't have a good job that you provide to afford your health issues. And your life, honestly, will probably just be a lot shorter. Because walking is actually so good for humans. Like, even just walking prevents Alzheimer's.
Yeah, well, and like...
Or it was like Alzheimer's or something like that. But it was either that or the other.
Well... like dementia or Alzheimer's?
It was either dementia or Alzheimer's. Well, like just walking can help. Just walking a lot in your life can prevent it when you're older. Can help prevent it.
Yeah, I don't know. There's a lot of stuff. I mean, the human body was designed to burn calories by doing normal daily tasks, but due to our ease of access to technology and food and stuff like that, we don't burn as many calories doing the natural things we would have been doing
Right.
before. And I don't even mean going spear hunting or nothing like that. I don't even mean that. I just mean
Like
walking, going
like
up the stairs,
just
not
moving your bodies in ways that are so natural
Mhm.
that is now becoming inconvenient to do because of
Yeah.
our technology and services.
Yeah, the movie Wall-E is not that far off, bro.
Like it very well could happen. It's
Like, yeah.
I mean there was I don't believe it'll ever get to that extreme where every single person is fat like that and in floating chairs, because there's still people that go against technology now and is like, no, I'm gonna still work on myself, eat healthy, not gonna eat this junk food they're giving us, but
Yeah.
like, what are you gonna do? It's like some people are just let themselves end up that way, and there's nothing you can personally do. I mean, you could try to influence them and hopefully get something through their head, but honestly, they have to ultimately come to that influence themselves and think, man, I need to work on myself.
Yeah. Yeah, and I mean, I don't know. It's just getting used to delayed gratification. It takes time. Everything takes time. Good takes time. If something is easy, most of the time, like to put it really plainly, I guess I would label it as like, if you have to work for something, a lot of the time it's good. If you don't have to work for something, a lot of the time it's bad.
Right.
Because I say that when something feels good after a long time, like a long time of working, versus something feels good after doing nothing, like eating a fat burger. Like, I mean, not everybody feels good after eating a burger. I don't. I
feel good
usually
anymore.
don't. I don't. But you know what I'm saying? Like,
Yeah.
easy dopamine, smoking, like taking pills, like doing stuff like that is like quick, easy. It's stuff like that is glorified in pop culture now, and just all of this like easy access dopamine, a lot of contentious behaviors, like if you can fight somebody and like win and prove that you're stronger, or like steal their woman or something,
Right.
then you're a big boy. When it's like you're using your weaknesses to try and prove that you're strong, because if that's what you require to feel secure and prove that you're like a man, then that's tough. That's tough.
You know what that can all be summed down to? Me and Devon actually did an episode on this last year. No, actually we did it at the end of 2021. It all comes down to our humans' hedonistic behavior. Do you know what hedonism is?
I've heard the word, but not.
So hedonism is essentially every human is a hedonist. Every human is. It just matters how much you're gonna let our deep root desire to do things affect you. So, like for example, everything you do is to gain something for pleasure. Pleasure meaning whatever it is, right? Even if someone is trying to not be selfish and like help people, they're ultimately doing it to gain something still, and even if it's so minuscule, which could even be just that good feeling they get when they help somebody, right?
Yeah.
And that's hedonism. Is just the reason humans do anything is to gain something, some form of pleasure. And some people live an extremely hedonistic lifestyle that of say drugs, alcohol, because it's so they can get that pleasure so easy, so quick, right? They're just like, boom, I got pleasure. It can hurt them later on. And then there's other people who, the way they go about their hedonism, because it's really how you control your hedonism, right? So like, for a lot of people, if they're trying to be successful, their hedonism is, I want to live a free, financially free life, do whatever I want. And they know they have to work for that, right? So going through all this pain and suffering and working and whatever to get to where they want, it's all for the sake of getting that eventual pleasure, right? And then some people are just, nah, I don't want to go through that work. I want the immediate pleasure. Alcohol,
Yeah.
food, good unhealthy food, or whatever it is, right? But yeah, everything you do
Yeah.
is essentially for your own pleasure, desire, pleasure, whatever. You get what I'm saying.
Yeah.
But
I guess I wasn't familiar with that word, but definitely familiar with
with that
that
concept,
because it's like your biological form. Because like you aren't your like. I mean, you just have to prevail above your physical self. Because like, I remember there was a video that a friend showed me, and this is like staying away from any like certain religious topic, like per se, but like this guy was like, all right, I want you to read this without saying it out loud. Like, there's a Febreze bottle over there. So say Febreze without actually saying it out loud.
okay,
Who said it?
I know what you mean.
You know
It's
what I
weird.
mean? Like,
Well,
like,
I mean, some people don't even have that though.
Yeah, that's scary.
It's scary.
But nonetheless, like, you aren't your primitive desires. Like, we're just different. Like, we aren't just purely physical. And so like that's why humans are so cool and unique, is because like we have matter at arm's length to use for whatever we desire to use it for. It might be hard, but it's at our disposal.
Right.
And like we were designed to figure out how to use these things for good, because
You could even say our own bodies is the matter at our disposal.
no, like
right?
literally, like because you're
Like-
taking care of your body. Like you say taking care of your body, but that's not, you're saying that as in your body belongs to you. And it's like, yeah, because like you aren't your body, so take care of it, because
Right.
it's the vessel in which you're piloting this vessel right now. So take care of it. Otherwise, if you don't change your oil, you're gonna be running some mud through that engine. You know what I'm saying?
Even from a even if you were to say that your consciousness is purely physical, the fact if it was right, if that's the case, you could even say that your body is a vessel for your brain, because you are your brain essentially in that sense, right? And so you could even say, why not take care of this body that your brain pilots, because it's literally how you interact with the physical world.
Yeah.
It's how you do anything. So
Yeah.
why do you let it fall apart? Why do you not give a shit about taking care of it?
Yeah. Well, it's like interesting too, because like I'm not gonna like explain my beliefs or anything, because I don't like 100%. I like half believe in evolution, kind of. It's complicated. All right, but like I've heard somebody say, as far as on the side of evolution, like your brain is sitting inside of your skull, and as things evolved out of water and started walking, and as humanoid creatures began to emerge, like it's like your brain is sitting inside of this vessel, and it's like, okay, how are we going to figure out how to navigate things? Because if you're just like, say that we didn't have our 5 senses or 6 senses, you're like you're like sitting in the dark, you know what I'm saying? Like you're just some roast beef looking, like, or ground beef looking meat inside of a skull.
Yeah, a sack of flesh.
Yeah.
Like,
So your brain's like, all right, over millions of years, we're like, all right, let's see, eyes. Okay, I can see things now.
Well, you gotta remember, for the eyes is more. There's these UV rays. There's these particles shooting at me. if there's some way I could intercept what these particles are. Oh, here, I grew an organ that can now detect what these particles are. Oh, I can see.
Yeah.
Like,
well, and yeah, no, because it's like, that's the thing. Like, nah. That's why I don't believe it's just simple evolution. Is like, there's no such thing as coincidence, y'all. But
that's another topic for another day, though.
Yeah. But yeah, so like, your brain is like, how can we detect the things around us? And so that's how eventually like you get all these different senses that like both like tactile, visual, I guess like your smell and audio. Like, we're well equipped, at least most of us are. Some people aren't so fortunate. But yeah, it's just interesting. Like,
It really is.
I don't know. It's I have no idea where this area of the conversation came from, if I'm being completely honest.
It's just how these go, man. Like, honestly, but it all flows, you know? Like, it was, we didn't force it. It just kind of ended up here. And that's the beautiful thing about these kind of podcasts and talk conversations. You can go literally, that's the thing about life and the universe, is everything flows into each other in some way, right? Like, this conversation, we started with you going into film again.
Yeah.
And now here we are talking about evolution and eyes growing because of particles firing at it. You know what I mean? Like
Yeah.
that's the thing about humans in general too, is just like the fact that we can so easily just flow from thing to thing, no matter what it is, conversations, our world, the way we connect. It's just, it's beautiful in a very chaotic way.
Yeah. Yeah, it's cool.
Shout out to all those humans out there.
Yes.
Did you have any final words though that you wanted to close off with before we because it's, I don't even know how long we've been recording for, but it just feels right, you know what I mean? Yeah.
I don't know. Get yourself a fresh cut like I did today.
Hey, yo, that's what's up. Hey.
Yeah. Get yourself a taper on the sides and the back.
Yes, sir. Oh. The headphones left a impression on your ear.
Did they?
Or on your hair, I mean. It's kind of funny.
Okay, it doesn't look as drippy then right now. But I came in dripping, all right? Fresh cut.
Anyways, where can they find you on social media, my guy?
Instagram, MAL_WST, Mal West.
West.
And I ain't about to hand out anything else.
All right, that's cool.
But
I'm sure everyone, including myself, wishes you good luck into this rehabilitation center, this new chapter in your life. Are you ready for it?
Yeah, I'm
nervous.
I'm nervous because it's like, I don't know. It's so weird, like people's different beliefs. Because most people, you tell them that, and then some people are like, it's like, bruh, like, it's like, I'm not. It's like when you bring up medication, I'm like, I'm not huge onto. I could rant for so long about Western medicine, but
yeah,
there's just some times that for a certain select number of people that it is going to be the best option, just because you gotta weigh.
The dogs are a paid actor, by the way.
Yeah. Oh, well, like you gotta weigh out risk versus reward, you know? And most of the time I don't really have too much faith in Western medicine, but it just depends. It depends. It's dumb when people completely dismiss it.
That's definitely another topic for another day as well. So we're not going to get into that right now. But anyways, we wish you good luck, man, with that. And thank you guys for watching. If you guys enjoyed this episode, why don't you guys just like subscribe or follow if you want to see more? Because I really appreciate any feedback you guys can give in the comments. That'd be great. I try to take everything anyone tells me about this podcast. I try to really take it to heart and improve anywhere I can. So whatever you guys can let me know what you think. We're going to be getting a new set here in the next couple months, which I'm excited for. So at the moment, it's all right. It's not bad, but I'm ready for a change. I'm ready for season 3 coming soon. Season 3 coming soon. Let's be ready for that. But anyways, guys, I hope you guys have a good one. Anywhere that you're watching, if it's daytime, nighttime, hope you guys have a good one.
And don't forget to like the video. If you love your mom, like the video.
Yeah, if you love your mom, shout out to you, Mom. I know you're watching this.
And if you don't love your mom, you don't have to like the video if you don't want. But no, just still like the video.
All right, see you guys. Peace.